when I was at Dell, the average tenure of a VP was between 3 and 6 months. And they had adopted a lot of the GE, Jack Walsh philosophy. And one of the things was we had mandatory 10 to 15% were gone every year. And when I was there, what I saw was you were trying to bring in all these visionaries with different perspectives, and yet the old guard who were in most of the leadership positions were protecting the old guard. And so the people that they were taking out were the very people that were coming in to bring change. So it had a negative effect. And Adam, I want to use that to go into the last topic I wanted to explore with you, which is the power of perspective. And you write in chapter 7 that highlighting expertise is so critical because people feel more comfortable speaking up when they possess unique knowledge or insights. When people feel they know what they're talking about, they're more likely to talk about what they know. Along with feeling supported, having expertise is one of the biggest predictors of speaking up when in a low power position. In fact, when people feel they have a unique and relevant perspective, they are often compelled to put their insights or information on the table. It's why expanding the status pie is a key solution to making wise decisions. I think this power of perspective is one of the most important things that we can bring, and it's one of the most undervalued superpowers. And I was hoping you could go into this and explain its power.
So I've been studying this concept called perspective taking for almost 30 years now. And actually, 1995, I started my dissertation, and that was what I ended up studying. And the title of my dissertation was Perspective Taking, Debiasing Social Thought. And one of the things that I've discovered over the years is that perspective taking really is this superpower. And it functions in so many different ways. One of the ways it functions is it helps us navigate a diverse world, right, by understanding the different perspectives. So I've shown in my research, my award-winning dissertation, right, that perspective taking decreases the tendency to stereotype others. I've also shown in negotiations that when we're really good at understanding the other side, we can propose creative solutions that not only get us what we want, but also solve whatever issue our partner, our opponent, the other side is experiencing. It's also really helpful for innovation to take perspectives. And sometimes we're taking the perspectives of individuals, and other times we're taking the perspectives of what we might call a class of people. So one of the things I've studied in my research, and you mentioned in my TED talk earlier about how to speak up for yourself, is I've studied power dynamics. And so one of the things that we know is there's a term, I mentioned the leader amplification effect. I have another term that I coined called the leader silencing effect. And the leader silencing effect is that because of our power and our authority and our position, we tend to silence the perspectives of other people. But those perspectives can be incredibly valuable. They can carry the critical insight, even if someone's like lower down in the social hierarchy. And so one of the things we have to do to get to wise decisions or innovative solutions as a leader of a group is we got to lower the risk of speaking up. We got to reduce the leader silencing effect. And so one of the ways that we can do that is we can take the perspective of what prevents low power people from speaking up. And if we can identify those things that prevent them from speaking up, we can counteract them. So one of the things that you mentioned is, and I mentioned this word elevating other people before, elevating. If you know someone in the room has unique expertise or experience, you want to highlight it. Say, hey, I know Jane over here has worked for 20 years in this industry, and I'd love to get her perspective on what might be a solution, as we try to enter that market, right? And so by highlighting that it's elevating that person, saying their opinion really matters. It's lowering their risk of speaking up, right? Versus Danny Kahneman telling me my point wasn't right at all, right? That was so shattering to me of my confidence. It increase the risk of my speaking up for a very long time. And so that's one of the things we want to do is we want to take the perspective of our opponent negotiation, of our interaction, the person we're trying to motivate, like what's going to motivate this person, but also because I'm a leader, what is the perspective of someone with less power than me? And how can I mitigate some of those constraining forces that prevent them from sharing their perspectives and therefore not allowing for wise decisions or innovative solutions?